Here are the new equipment features we have for you today. You can now assign hourly rates to your equipment. This can be done when you add equipment to BusyBusy, or you can use your equipment management list for existing equipment. Another cool feature to point out here is the ability to set the effective date for this equipment's hourly rate. I can leave this date alone and it will apply this hourly rate going forward from today's date. Or I can set it to a day in the past and it will update my equipment data retrospectively. When I change this rate in the future, it will keep all the old data according to the old rate and use this new rate moving forward. You can view the rate history for your equipment by going to the three-dot stack and clicking View History. If I decide I want to edit an equipment rate, change the effective date, or delete it, I can do that here as well. After you've set your equipment hourly rates, when you go to your Equipment Activity Report, the rate shows up and the equipment costs are now calculated. Adding an hourly rate that accounts for fuel and maintenance gives you a much more detailed picture of your equipment costs right here in your Equipment Activity Report. Now that I've assigned an hourly rate to all my equipment, I can also add and track equipment costs within a project's budget. Just like all of our other budget categories, adding equipment to your budgets will allow you to see if your equipment expenses for a project are on track with what you need them to be. If you're interested in including equipment in your budgets, go to Settings, Budgeting, and click the boxes to include equipment hours and/or cost in your budget. Now let me show you how to create a new budget for a project that includes equipment. Just a note, you can also create and view and manage budgets on your mobile as well as on the web. Here's a project I haven't created a budget for yet. You can add cost codes to your budget to really create a detailed budget for your project. However, if for some reason you don't want to budget cost codes for a project, or if you don't have cost codes enabled at all, you can still create a budget with your labor hours, labor cost, equipment hours, and equipment cost. Hit save and your budget will be created. But I want to show you what it looks like when you include cost codes in your budget. I'm going to select the cost codes that my crew will be working on for this project, and now I can fill in the budget allotment for each cost code. I have progress tracking enabled for my company, so I'll create a quantities and progress value for this cost code. I will also input my expected labor hours, labor cost, and finally my planned equipment hours and equipment cost for each cost code. If you have cost codes in your budget that won't be using equipment, just leave the equipment boxes at 0. Once I've filled out the budget for each cost code, I can use the Autofill button to automatically calculate the totals for each column, or I can leave Autofill off and manually input the budget totals. Hit save, and now I can see the budget for the overall project, as well as see the budget broken down by each cost code, including my equipment.